Welcome to the Log Time Podcast. The dumpster fire year is finally over, but sadly, so is the fall 2020 anime season. We're saying goodbye to a lot of killer shows from the past few months, so join us as we gush about some of our favorite series, as well as geek out over some of the best shows of the entire year. We might be down a man for this episode, rest in peace Kyle, but don't count us out. Hop on in and help us end the season with a bang. I'm trying to think of a way to do this where it doesn't sound like we're trying to be really sincere about the year ending. Because, like...
Fuck 2020.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, fuck 2020.
Yeah, hate that.
Hate
I'm glad it's gone, because 2021 has been better. Question mark.
I mean... I was going to say, what 2021 have you been in, man? I don't want to think about what's happened in this first fucking week.
I want to cancel.
Shut your mouth.
I saw a meme today where it said, I want to cancel my free subscription, my free trial subscription of 2021. I don't like what I see.
Yeah, and we're still in the 1 week trial period. As of like recording, we've got like 3 hours to cut it off. So I think we can do it.
Yeah.
If nothing else, though, even though, like, definitely fuck 2020, I think that we can at least say that the end of the fall 2020 season of anime kind of, like, gave us a nice way to go out of it.
Yeah. Honestly, I thought you were going to say the end of the world there for a second instead of the end of fall 2020 anime, but yeah.
No. We're still here. If we weren't still here, we wouldn't have that free trial subscription.
That's also true. But
yeah, so continuity there.
Yeah. It's been a good year for anime, I guess. Like, if you consider all of the aspects, like all the anime that were supposed to air, I guess, ended up airing again.
Yeah.
Just later. So, but minus that like little short period where they got like delayed, it's been pretty good actually.
Yeah, I would say if we're talking about like anime itself as a product and don't really look at, the issues that came up with production or, workplace stuff or basically any of the stuff that goes into making anime, it was a fucking baller year.
Yeah, like
it was good shit.
I actually am pretty, and I'm gonna get into this later, but I actually think that a lot of anime this year, the production values are actually really good. In most anime, there's obviously been some exceptions, but in fall 2020, like there have been some anime that have looked really fucking good.
Yeah, and like I'm not looking to say like, it's magically the end of 2020 and everything just looks better, because as you said, that's definitely not the case. I'm looking at you, Tomoyomi. There has been this like astonishing jump up in the sheer production values of a lot of really high profile stuff. And it's been cool to see a lot of shit just look consistently fucking gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, it's been good shit. And I'm glad that fall 2020 didn't, shit the bed at the end.
Yeah.
For the most part, anyway. I would say there's a couple shows that I ended up being pretty lukewarm on once they ended. But
kind of on that note, did you watch the Day I Became God or whatever?
That's the Jun Maeda's wild ride for this season, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had every intention of giving it a watch, but I was already watching like 14 fucking shows this season.
Yeah, you're crazy, but okay.
And everything just kind of, it got lost in the deluge. But I've heard a lot of things about it. Not a whole lot of detail. I know it had baseball in it though, so par for the course.
Yeah, it's a Jun Maeda show. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure you got your bingos there. I think there were several bingos.
Yeah, but no. Tell me about it.
I didn't watch it either. So,
so nice.
I also had every intention of watching it. But the reason I said that though was because you were talking about like just 2020 and anime. And it kind of made me think that, apparently, so the day I became God, I don't know a lot of details either. So this is kind of just like what I've heard. But I do think that it's a pretty divisive show, as all Jun Maeda shows seem to be anymore. But apparently there was this one part where Jun Maeda, like, I guess was looking at what people said about his show. I don't know if that part's speculation or not, but he definitely disappeared off the radar and social media and such, and apparently didn't appear on, I think it was like a voice, like a character voice acting, like radio talk show or something.
Yeah, it was like an end of the year show sort of thing.
Yeah, and he didn't appear like he typically does after every episode.
Yeah. He just went into fucking hiding or something because people didn't like it as much as his previous stuff.
Yeah.
I remember that now. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember reading about that and I was like, that's really weird. He's not usually the type to go off the radar. I don't know if he's just like, okay guys, I'm sick of your shit. I'm tired of your bullying. Or if this is like oh wow, he thought maybe he's just like really like depressed or something and like something really bad's gonna happen, which would, ironically, that would be kind of like a weird like Jun Maeda twist.
It really would, and I hate to say that.
Like that's like maybe a twisted joke, but like I hope the dude's okay, because I actually think that most of his works are pretty good. Like,
I would agree.
Not like super amazing or anything, but they're always interesting and I enjoy watching them.
They are all truly wild rides in their own ways, and that manifests in varying levels of overall quality, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
But I have yet to watch one that I really despised. Now, to be fair, I haven't watched, The Day I Became God, so maybe that would change if I did.
Yeah.
But I less heard that it was overall bad and more that it was just like, it kind of fizzled out.
Oh.
Yeah. But again, we're two dinguses talking about a show that we haven't watched.
Yeah.
So who knows?
I think it's also kind of like talking about a Mario Kart show that you didn't watch. And the fact that it's like there's so much like divisiveness just around the style of like her shows, in the same way Jun Maeda has like this fan base that either you love him or you hate him sort of thing. So you're gonna get a wide variety of people that just says it did that because they don't like his writing, or they didn't like the ending of Clannad 10 years ago, or I guess that's probably been like 12 or 13 years ago at this point. Or Angel Beats, I guess. That's been like 9 years ago, but whatever.
Yeah. Still can't pay me to watch it. Not yet, anyway. I still don't feel ready for it, and I don't know if I'll ever be ready for it.
That's just Jun Maeda for you. So
truly.
Talking about other wild rides, that is something I've actually have seen that I was not expecting this, but Hypnosis Mic, or I guess dissing raps the anime.
Did you actually get around to watching the whole thing?
I watched the whole thing.
Yes! Oh, fuck yes.
There was actually one show I didn't watch in the first podcast when we did this, and then I was like, okay, everyone is suddenly talking about Hypnosis Mic. What the fuck is this show? And then I started watching it, and I understood as soon as I saw some guy open up his vest and see a bunch of microphones. And I was like, you know what? I no longer need an explanation.
Just a suicide mic bomber?
Yeah.
It really does distill the show in like one image, just in terms of like the tone, and it just shows you, hi, welcome to Hypnosis Mic, this is what we're all about. I cannot believe all these fucking folks slept on this show until like halfway through the season. Like, how can you not see that first episode or just the pure concept and be like, I'm sold? Because it's the bottom line of Hypnosis Mic is it's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And it has literally no right to be as good as this fucking thing is. Like, yes, it absolutely blew up, a good bit into the fall season, and rightfully so. Like, I mean, the general premise, and like we talked about it in the beginning of fall, so like I'm not gonna go too deep into it. But like the premise of like a totalitarian government taking over Japan and getting rid of all weapons in favor of using mics as weapons, and having rap battles be how disputes and like fights are solved among like the Yakuza and a bunch of other shit, is just patently absurd. And there's no way on paper this should work at all, but somehow it fucking does. And it was probably in my top 5 shows of this year.
Honestly, just
I'm not kidding.
The concept itself is just such a spectacle. Like I didn't actually. I was like going into it thinking, okay, so it's like a boy idol anime, except the rappers instead of idols. Okay, get that.
Yes.
And then
that's the best elevator pitch you can give.
Yeah, and I was just like, interesting. And then like the whole like the absurdity of the first episode, like you said, is just like, I'm like, I know this show's probably not going to be like something like super special, but just as it literally reaches that level of, this is so absurd that it's interesting, and I'm just enthralled by how they're making this work. So I'm going to keep watching it.
Yeah. And the fascinating thing is, like, I was in it for the first, like, probably 2 or 3 episodes for the memes. Like, just because, like, this is stupid, this is just ridiculous, I'm gonna have some fun with it, and then probably get out of it. But the dangerous thing about Hypnosis Mic is that it's actually a competent show, and it has so many elements that work seamlessly together to make a really fucking solid package. Like, the characters themselves of all the 4 different rap divisions, Buster Bros, Mad Trigger Crew, Matenro, and Fling Posse, they're also diverse in their different character makeup. So, like, obviously in the kind of idol way, you can find someone that's like, that's my boy, that's my favorite dumbass, but they all like have arcs in some way. They have some interesting character development, and you really get to know them in a way that you wouldn't expect, again, some dumbass fucking show about like weaponized rap battles to. And I found myself getting really invested in them, just because not only is the show still fucking stupid, but it's so charming. It's addicting to watch, and it's like I'm not kidding you. There's so much good shit in the fall 2020 season, but every week I was the most excited to get to next fucking Hypnosis Mic episode. I was fucking chomping at the bit, man. I was just like, is it Saturday yet?
It does have this weird aura to it that, like, once you start watching it, you're kind of just like, I don't know, you're kind of just drawn into it for one reason or another. And maybe it's just because, like, I'm just generally a fan of, like, the music anime as it is. So I was like, oh, this is like close enough to idols that I can like this. But I was vastly entertained by the raps. Like, there were just so many like arcs that happened that I was like, this is basically just a diss track right now, and this is
it's so good.
This is amazing. And like, I was like looking forward, and I don't know if this was like this on the version, like the subtitles you watched, but were the raps translated for you? Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we probably just both watched it on Funimation or whatever.
Funimation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, wow, they don't do this for any other music anime. This is so impressive.
I know, it's great.
Thank you, Funimation.
And that's one of the strongest things about this, because like I like music shows. I can dig some idol anime and things like that. But the fact of the matter is, they get to the songs and it's like, oh, this is cool. I like seeing the performance and the dance and all that shit, and that's nice. But the actual music and the lyricism of Hypnosis Mic specifically is so integral to, again, the show's core, but also the core of the characters as well. Because, kind of like you say, there's so much, like posturing and diss track shit and a whole lot of other stuff where, like,
It has personality, individualized personality. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. And it really is not just, them performing, but it's them interacting with each other. It is them, bonding or fighting or doing something. And again, the as Mr. Hardcore would say, the dope rhymes and shit are fucking just so fun. And the translation to make them work in English it was such killer work. Like, they knocked it out of the fucking park.
That I didn't really think about that, but yeah, whoever was translating that, the fact that they had to make all of that work in a good translation that's just impressive on its own, really.
Yeah.
Like, good job. Hats off to them.
And the dangerous thing about this whole shebang of Hypnosis Mic is, like, I found myself actually seeking out the music because, like, Hypnosis Mic started as a, like, multimedia project in, like, 2017, and they just started putting out, different records from all the 4 different rap groups, and, like, the albums had, like, skits on them with character skits and shit on it, and, like, actual music and raps and stuff, and, like, I've been able to find some on, like, Spotify and other places,
wow.
And I'm not kidding. I have, in my daily life, like, started listening to, like, some Mad Trigger Crew shit, and I'm just like, what is happening to me? But that's the thing. It is astonishing how, like, again, actually fucking good this music is. Because, like, I can watch a lot of music-based anime and be like, oh, yeah, this is good in that it's, like, it's good for a music anime, and it's fun enough to, like, sit through and, like, enjoy it. But I can't really think of a lot of shows where I would actively go out and seek out that music. But, like, there's just something about this, man.
It's very unique. Like, honestly, like, I can't think of another anime to even compare it to, just because, like, an anime about, like, rap tracks was not the first thing I would have ever dreamed of ever seeing.
No, absolutely not.
So,
and I mean, like, I can't really think of another music-based show where, like, it is inherently a combative thing. Because I mean, like, with Idolmaster or Love Live or things like that, or Idolish 7, you do have some, like, intergroup rivalries, to be sure, but, like, it's never this, like, distilled, weaponized, like, combat sort of thing. It's so bizarre.
Now I'm going, you say that, but I'm going to raise you the AKB 00048.
Okay, that's a different case altogether.
But that's, like, I mean, if we're talking, like, comparisons, that's probably, like, the closest thing.
In
terms of just bizarreness.
Like
so
yeah, it's like some Roro Fight the Power shit.
Yeah,
because it's fighting the government with future Idol Tech shows.
Yeah, so I mean that's probably about as close as you're gonna get, and it's kind of not close.
You heard it here first, folks. If you liked Hypnosis Mic, you should go watch AKB48's anime.
Oh my god.
Fuck me.
Oh man, I do want to watch that at some point because it just sounds ridiculous. I mean, I enjoyed Hypnosis Mic because it was ridiculous, so it's probably similar.
Probably.
But yeah, so that's pretty interesting about the multimedia project thing. I knew it was a mobile game, but honestly, I kind of want to see the mobile game now, just out of curiosity.
Yeah, like the mobile game launched, like, I think, honestly, hilariously enough, like, in March of last year. So, like, right when the fucking pandemic hit.
Nice.
So, yeah, great timing there. I don't know anything about it. I really didn't know there was a mobile game until you mentioned it, like, 10 minutes before we started the fucking podcast.
Yeah.
So that was news to me. You didn't know it was a multimedia project, and I didn't know it had a mobile game, so...
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. That's definitely not the first thing I would have expected from an anime like this. Be like, there's a mobile game, and I'm like,
yeah,
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really genuinely curious now because it's got to just be like a rhythm game sort of thing, but like also how do you make that sort of thing work if it is again like primarily raps and such as opposed to listening to some
song and you're
dank
doing
anime
like,
OPs. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like there's like music rhythm games typically work as in like, there are rhythm games, but they usually are like, hey, like, I don't know. I guess I always imagine them like, like a Guitar Hero, like you're like hitting it with the notes obviously, but I was thinking more like, choreography, and also like it kind of just makes it all work as like a general piece.
Yeah,
like,
I think just like Bang Dream sort of stuff.
Yeah. Like that's what I'm talking about. I'm just thinking like, there's none of that in a rap battle. It's kind of like, could you imagine trying to play like an Hypnosis Mic song as a rhythm game? Like, what does that even look like?
I have no fucking clue,
like,
man.
I don't know. I would love to know how that works.
I'd love to know too, but at the same time, I feel like now that I know that it exists, and I still don't know anything about it, I think I have to keep it that way to like preserve
the sanctity,
the mystique of it. I wouldn't say the sanctity of it. There's nothing sacred about this whole fucking show. There's nothing about that. But
Hypnosis Mic must be protected.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah, I'm devastated that I'm not going to have any more of this, and I probably won't have any more of this in the future. I would do anything for a season 2, but
that would be so
who
funny.
knows, man.
And maybe the mobile game was just going to suddenly take off now.
You know what? I can only hope so.
That would be exciting. It wouldn't even be the strangest thing that's happened.
No, it fucking wouldn't.
Yeah, so good on Hypnosis Mic. I thank you for giving me that experience.
Yeah, sleeper hit of the season.
Speaking of sleeper hits, I know you watched the sleeping anime. How did that go?
Oh my god. Yeah, Sleepy Princess and the Demon Castle.
Yeah.
That was absolutely, for me, the show of the season.
Really?
There's little competition in my mind. And I know that that's some hard words, considering we had shit like, Jujutsu Kaisen or Wandering Witch or some other pretty hard hitters. But my fucking god, I love me a good, competent comedy series. That's why shit like, Nozaki-kun and Tanaka-kun is Always Listless are shows that are like in my top 20 and are always going to stay there.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I really appreciate it when a show knows what it wants to do and knows how it's going to do it and executes it like fucking perfectly. And Sleepy Princess is like that to a T. It's so fucking fun. And I almost didn't give it a shot, like, when the season started.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of saw the premise and I was like, oh, that sounds fine. But, after watching the first episode, it was clear that I couldn't only just watch one episode. Like, it's just such a fun idea of, this princess gets kidnapped by the Demon Lord, and the Demon Lord sets up this grand thing for the hero to come rescue her. Like, they're essentially living in a fucking, classic NES RPG or something like that, along with the tropes and everything that go with it.
Right.
But my god, the show is just, it has incredible comedic chops. Like, and it does the whole gamut. It has incredible, like, physical humor, like a shitload of good slapstick stuff, to where it's like, you wouldn't expect the sweet little princess to be a fucking murderer, but here she is,
Yeah, I remember watching the first couple episodes, like, with the sheet ghost. God.
Yeah.
That was something else. So I guess I guess it escalates, or is it about the same as the show continues on? Is it just?
I mean, it's about the same as the show continues on, and I mean, like,
that's pretty good, honestly. So
yeah, it does a good job of establishing the princess as probably actually the most chaotic figure in the entire Demon Lord Castle. And
that's funny.
As time goes on, everyone knows it more and more. But the really most delightful thing about the show, you know, its comedy is great and the premise is excellent, but the way it iterates on it is really fantastic because it kind of goes on to not just be about, like, you know, she's got to get a good fucking sleep. Like, that's the through line. But, you know, it really comes to find out that the demons are not bad folks at all. They're all pretty cool and kind, and they're really good to the princess. She's kind of like their, you know, demon monster little daughter.
Oh, nice.
And vice versa, you know, the princess really comes to love them as like a family, and, you know, even more so than when she was back in the human world. And
that's interesting.
I didn't expect it to be a really wholesome, like, found family sort of thing, but it really managed to do it in a way that didn't feel ham-fisted or like preachy or anything. It was genuinely surprisingly heartfelt. And, like, I don't know, there's a lot I can say about, like, it does this well and it does that well, but the bottom line is it's just so fun and really sweet and heartwarming. And around, you know, the end of 2020, I felt like that's what I needed the most out of a show. I love anime in all its different forms, and, you know, I like watching, you know, big shit beat on other big shit, you know, giant mechs and all that stuff. But, like, at the end of it all, this was a genuine, real comfort to me, and I really appreciated that.
Yeah, it sounds like a really good show. I wish I could have watched it more of it, because I did enjoy the first couple episodes I watched.
Yeah.
But yeah, the found family thing is kind of interesting. You kind of can get those vibes, I guess, from the first episode, but the fact that I guess it, like, emphasizes that in a certain way is kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's not like it makes that the forefront, right, per se, but you definitely see how the denizens of the demon castle, you know, really start to get more and more endeared with her. Like, she just keeps fucking breaking out of her cell, and, you know, at some point, it's like, they're not even really concerned anymore. They're just like, oh, she's out again? Okay, whatever. As long as she doesn't leave the castle, like, that's fine. And, like, she, you know, comes into, like, fucking board meetings every now and then, and they're like, what are you fucking doing? And she's like, I had a bad dream. You're now going to listen to my bad dream. And they're like, come on. But
that's funny.
Yeah, but yeah. It manages to do an extraordinary amount of stuff with what initially seems like something that would be a very one trick pony. You know, aha, this princess is in a demon castle and wants to get a good sleep. Okay, let's see it do this for a couple episodes. But it really competently stretches that out further than I really thought possible.
Yeah,
so
that's kind of what I thought it was going to be at first too, and obviously after I watched the first couple episodes I realized that wasn't the case. But it just it kind of does seem like one of those shows, like one of those slice of lifey shows that's like, oh, okay, well, I get the this is the gimmick, here are the tropes, now we're going to put them together, and here's the rest of the show. And honestly, Dokukobo shows, which I realize that's who created it, they're pretty good about doing that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And their gags can be, they have some good hits, like Nozaki-kun, Love Lab, but a lot of their shows are just, especially lately, have just been like the same gags, and it's like I could predict the trajectory of a Dokukobo show, like from beginning to end, in a slice of life comedy setting. So I'm glad it wasn't that. If nothing else.
Me too.
So, I mean, that just sounds like a good show. Like, I'm kind of disappointed because who just doesn't want a good sleep at the end of the year?
Yeah, for fucking sure.
So,
you know, I guess in terms of like really sweet, heartfelt shit, I would say that this season was actually pretty good about having some shows that kind of followed that through line. I was really struck by, like, for instance, TONIKAWA. In how delightful that show also was continuously. It's another one of those shows where it's like, you know, the premise of, these two are, you know, it's love at first sight, and then they immediately get married the next time they see each other, and it's wacky newlywed shenanigans.
Zach, okay, sorry, I'm gonna stop you there for a second. How many times has that happened in anime that you've had to say, this is your typical, and then you lead into that as the follow-up?
No, okay, no. That's not what I'm saying, but what I'm saying is, like, it sounds like a pretty standard-ish setup, or it sounds like something that would, you know, on the surface only have so much that you could do with that premise before it gets kind of tired.
Okay, I get you.
That's more what I meant.
Okay.
Like, not, oh yeah, we've seen this show and this plot a billion times. Like, no.
I was about to say, dang, okay, I don't know what other shows you've been watching.
No. It's more just like, you know, I read the description, I was like, oh, that'll probably be sweet for a little bit. I don't know if that's necessarily my thing, you know, for a long-term sort of, you know, show commitment, but this is another one that really surprised me throughout the series and throughout the whole season in how how well it did what it did.
Yeah, like, I was pretty shocked at just the amount of, I guess what I want to say is that it's definitely got this level of comfort to it, but it doesn't, like, hard sell the comfort bits. Like, it's obviously not just, like, I hate to use this word, but it's not just, like, pandering to like a particular audience. It's like, it feels like genuinely wholesome, I guess. And I think that's good, that a show is just like, yeah, let's just do it like this, because there's also a lot of moments in TONIKAWA that are just funny. Like, the show, I'm sure you noticed this, there's a bunch of references just to random crap, honestly.
Yeah.
And it adds character to the show.
Yeah, it really does. Like, around the end where they're all having the fucking takoyaki party, like, you know, all the cool young kids do, apparently. But they just got really fucking sucked into Street Fighter. Like, actually Street Fighter? Like, not a Street Fighter ripoff, like, actual footage from Street Fighter 5, which was really initially jarring, and I was like, wait, what's happening? What is this? What exactly? But, you know, yeah, it was like, oh my god, look at these fucking dweebs, you know, throwing down over some Capcom arcade fighters. Like, this is delightful. And not, you know, the initial kind of, like, pandering uwu romance sort of shit that, you know, one might think that a show like this might go into.
Yeah, I kind of expected the show to get, like, really dramatic. I'm going to touch on that in a minute. But also, just want to point out, there was probably at least, like, 2 or 3 VTuber references, which I definitely appreciated.
Yeah, it was astonishing.
And I was just like, okay, y'all are, like, really smart. And I'm the audience right now, and you got me. You got me to laugh. That's funny.
Yeah.
Like when they were going to view the apartments, and they were like, there's probably some YouTubers living up here. They heard they make, like, the highest hourly wage in, like, Japan. And they were just like, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I saw them mention that, and I was like, what the fuck?
I'm like, this is kind of out of left field, but interesting.
It is. And I think that's one of the strengths of this show, is that they really do a solid job of fleshing out basically, like, everyone in this show, but especially Tsukasa and Nasa.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they feel like people, which is really cool because, like, I feel as though in a lot of, romance-centric series where, like, the relationship itself is, like, the thing, or the slice of life bullshit is the thing, whether it's a slice of life show or a romance kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, a lot of it is carried on the gimmick in and of itself, and it's like, haha, that's, the staying power of the show. And a lot of times the characters just kind of feel, I don't know, like a little flat. It feels like the characters take a backseat to, the almost the tropey shit that the show is trying to push to carry itself forward.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Like, almost like they push the narrative, like, too much of the show, and they're like, oh, we gotta, it's kind of like, I feel like it's almost like a threefold thing. Like, okay, they're trying to, like, get an audience that likes the shit that they always produce, so, like, they're trying to get the tropes in there for, I don't know what reason they do that, but they do that. And then there's another vector that's like, oh, like, we want to make sure that, like, we're following the adaptation, like, strictly. So they want to make sure they hit all the beats in order to progress the show. And then there's, like, another aspect that's, like, they're trying to, hit, like, this, unique feel of the show and trying to give it, like, personality on its own. And I feel like sometimes they just end up going down one of the paths, but this somehow managed to, like, I don't know. It managed to, like, not follow any of those, but also, like, do not a little bit of each, but, like, it managed to kind of do its own thing. And I'm not sure if that's maybe because, like, maybe the author had more control over the work. I don't really know that, but it kind of feels it feels more organic as an anime. Is this even an adaptation? I don't even know.
Yeah, the original was originally a manga.
Okay. Yeah. So it just kind of feels like a little bit more freeform, which usually I feel like those works are a little bit more better suited for anime. I don't know.
I think so too. Yeah. Part of me wonders if part of it comes from the fact that it's technically a Crunchyroll original sort of thing. It was one of those series that Crunchyroll went in and, like, partially helped fund and such.
Mm-hmm.
And I've noticed with pretty much almost every Crunchyroll original series, for better or worse, they have been unlike most anything else I've ever seen. Whether it's been like Tower of God or, God of High School or Inspector. Did you know that Inspector was technically a Crunchyroll original series?
Yeah, I did read that somewhere, and I was like, huh. Yeah, that was a different kind of show, too.
Yeah, and so that's the thing. It's like, I feel as though perhaps it was given a special kind of, like, creative freedom to just, like, do whatever the fuck it wanted with itself.
Mm-hmm.
Because it really does feel like its own sort of thing, because I don't feel like it slots exactly into, like, just a slice of life or just a romance or like a just fit genre, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it really feels like it is able to roll a whole lot of shit into this surprisingly consistent and competent and really delightful package.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because it's just like, and it's really simple and it's really stupid shit to me to even have to say this, I feel like, but god fucking damn it, it is so nice to watch, like, a couple in an anime, like, hold hands or, like, touch each other and not look like they're about to fucking explode or something. It's like they press the fucking, like, button to launch a nuke or something, but it's like, oh, I brushed a shoulder against you. I'm never going to recover from this. Like, it's nice to see, folks in a relationship being, like, normal-ass folks, if you get my drift.
Yeah, I kind of get what you mean. I'm I'm actually just kind of glad there wasn't any stupid interruption romance gag, because I hate that.
God. Oh my God.
I know you do too. Uh, one thing I was really surprised about the show is that, and this is kind of what I was getting at a minute ago, is that the overall pacing of the show, I don't know if pacing is the right word, but then the flow of the show in general is a little bit different than a lot of shows that would be similar to this. Because I could imagine, and I'm not sure if that plays into the Crunchyroll original thing, or if maybe they chose it because it was unique, so they felt like funding it. I don't know which one came first. Because I think that I could also think.
Can't say either.
I think that could be, you could debate either or.
Yeah.
But
Anyway.
the narrative of TONIKAWA was very different, because I actually kind of feel like that shows like this that have like this character dynamic. Okay, so you got the premise, right? You establish the premise, and then you basically build on that a little bit, and then you introduce some new characters, you get a flow going, you get you get some comedy, you get some, you get a little bit of this, a little bit of that, basically. You kind
of just toss them into different skits and scenarios,
yeah,
and see what
and
sticks.
Then near the end, what happens is that you do this big reveal. You do like this big, like this introspection at the end. Like, you look into the characters and you're like, this is, I feel like, and the reason I say this is because I feel like if this show was done just a little bit differently, in a typical way, I feel like that Tsukasa's like past would have been like delved into a lot more, and I was kind of surprised to not see that. And I thought at first that might be a bad thing, but I actually enjoyed that they didn't do that. And I was like, that's interesting. I feel like that there was a narrative structure that was broken there, and I felt like that I didn't like it just because it was different. I liked it because it actually felt a little bit more organic than like, it felt less scripted, I guess.
Yeah, no. And I know exactly what you mean by that, because I want to go back to, like, you said the flow of this show, and I think this really exemplifies what TONIKAWA excels at, because, I mean, again, there's plenty of rom-com shows that flourish in, little skit-based sort of things that are kind of their own self-contained stories and shit. But
do you have any examples of that, just out of curiosity? Just like,
I was thinking about stuff like Nisekoi and things like that.
Okay.
There's technically a larger story going on, but it doesn't really feel like it very much. Everything feels like its own very self-contained sort of point that really...
Oh, they only kind of like bring back the plot when it's convenient, sort of thing.
Yeah, they do, and even then it's like for maybe like a minute or so, and it's just kind of like, that's fine, I guess. That's fun, and that's fun enough, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of good shows that are based off of a concept like that, but...
Yeah, but like with TONIKAWA, the way that it, makes the show all about its central plot of, the genius of this is that the core loop is these two are newlyweds and they are trying to figure shit out about each other. And so they just make the show about them coming to figure out stuff about each other. And it works really beautifully because, again, it takes a lot of time to really dive into the characters of Nasa and Tsukasa, but it also is able to pull in a pretty sizable supporting cast that doesn't feel like they sidebar the core main story. If anything, they really help to supplement it, because the side cast works to kind of amplify Nasa and Tsukasa. It helps to put them in these different situations where they continue to flesh out that, we are, a now married couple, and this is stuff we're learning about each other now. And it's really nice to see the core loop of this show actually consistently also be about its central plot element. if that makes sense.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. And and I guess while watching the show, I was thinking a lot about like this structurally and why it was working. So, but I think you nailed it. It's basically the characters, they have this thing, and the side characters supplement them trying to figure out the thing, and then it basically it almost creates like this nice little feedback loop where you don't need to introduce any of these other extraneous elements. You don't need to make the scenario different in order to have this happen. It just kind of happens.
Yeah. I think also maybe part of it is just like, I think I'm a little jaded towards a lot of romance stuff nowadays because so much of it kind of just falls into big harem categories of stuff. And like, that's fine.
I like that though.
Harems are fine though, but it's a very oversaturated market.
Yeah.
And you're not seeing a lot of romance series that are just focusing on like, the problems and the resolutions of problems of just like a single central couple there. Like, I mean, there's definitely elements here where it's like there could be some potential romantic kind of shit going on here. But at the same time, there's never any thought of like, oh, who's NASA going to end up with? It's Tsukasa.
Yeah,
It's Tsukasa. It will never not be Tsukasa.
Yeah.
And so it's refreshing to go into each episode not thinking like, oh boy, how's he gonna fuck this up with X character this time?
Yeah. Okay, so full disclosure, I kind of like that. I just kind of like the dumpster fire that is.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, like, God knows I have really enjoyed reading We Never Learn, which is an absolute fucking harem dumpster fire.
Yep.
And I'm just like, oh my god, what are you fucking doing?
I just can't. I can't help it. I love chaos. But yeah, like, and don't get me wrong. Like, I'm kind of like, I'm not like hating TONIKAWA for doing anything that it's doing, or that like I understand why people are jaded against those shows. I get it. I just like I don't agree, but that's all it is.
That's okay.
But yeah, I get that. I get that I'm the minority here. So, well, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of those shows that are really popular. So I don't know if I'm in the minority. I'm in the vocal minority, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, TONIKAWA though, yeah, I love it. Like, at first I was a little skeptical, but I think it was only because everybody was saying, "Wow, this is so different than anything else," and I kind of ended up like almost like everyone saying it was like different than all the other romance shows. I was kind of like,
yeah, that can be a red flag.
Yeah, almost like put me against the show, like, just because everyone was just like, I don't know, trashing everything else. So I was like, I don't know if we should be doing that, but that I would do that with anything that was like that. So
yeah, no, and I understand that entirely, because like, I mean, I would definitely be wary of something where people are holding this up as like, this show is the paragon of X genre of stuff and everything else is shit garbage. And I'm like, citation needed, buddy.
Yeah.
I need some actual like hard proof here.
Yeah.
Back your shit up.
I also I just think that when you do that, like, you're putting a lot of expectations on a show.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And like, you're basically setting yourself up for disappointment. Now, not saying TONIKAWA disappointed at all. It was great.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, there, I don't know. It could be, it's just different. It's just, I feel like it's not 100% comparable. So.
Yeah. And I mean, like, this show ain't, like, a perfect 10. Like, this is not, God's gift to man or something like that.
Yeah, it's not gamers.
Like, it's a perfectly competent, sweet, fun, really funny, like, romantic comedy that just kind of handles the romantic comedy,
it just handles
genre
it well.
differently.
And yeah, well and differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just kind of does its own thing, and other shit can do
its own
other
thing
shit
too.
stuff, and that's also perfectly fine.
You can
we can
both.
Still enjoy our trash.
TONIKAWA has two hands, guys. But yeah.
Shut up. Okay, so I figured that we would be pretty much on the same page with TONIKAWA. I'd really like to know. I really want to talk about Adachi and Shimamura with you.
Okay.
Because I don't know where you are with this show, and I'm very interested to see.
I'm kind of all over the place on this show, honestly. So
I think this show is also all over the place.
So I've not seen the show at all. I'm gonna throw it out.
Oh my god, have you not?
No, I've not seen the show at all. So I'm gonna let you know in advance that my perception of the show is only what I've seen on my Twitter feed. Yeah. So my entire view of the show is based on my Twitter timeline, and I mean, there's just I've seen a lot of different opinions. Like, I've seen, like, at first I thought the show, like, was, people were spinning it in a relatively positive way, and I still think there's a very positive reception to the show.
Yeah.
But I kind of was confused. Like, I think there's a ghost girl in this show, and I still don't really fully...
She's an alien.
An alien?
Yeah, just keep going.
Okay.
I'll get into it.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, you're just going to have to help me fill in the blanks in a minute. But, so, I've seen some other things about, like, I guess particularly about the directing of the show, and how it's been kind of weird. Because I understood the show initially as like a Bluma to You thing, where it's like, oh, it's about, like, romance from a different, like, point of view sort of thing, in terms of, like, not like a Yuri show, but like a genuine sort of, like
just a queer romance.
Right, show. Yeah, because that's what I thought it was, but then I was seeing, like, some criticisms here about it, and then other people, like, criticizing it, and then I was really confused, and then, like, I don't know. I just ended up seeing a lot of, like, really, like, contextually strange shots. And I was just like... I was very confused at what the show wanted to be. From my Twitter timeline, by the way. And I'm just like, at the end, I didn't really hear anything about it. And then a bunch of people started talking about, maybe it was Yuri baiting and stuff, and I was just like, I don't even know what this show is anymore. And I was like, I thought people liked this show, and then I was confused, and then I don't know, I was just genuinely lost when I was seeing the discourse about it, and I was just like, you know what, I don't know. I didn't watch it, so I have no opinion on this. For the first time, I didn't watch a controversial show, apparently.
Yeah,
Please fill me in on what your experience is to help me fill in the gaps, because I'm confused.
Yeah, okay, so I can only speak from my experience with this show. I can definitely say that I've also seen a lot of very conflicting shit. I have some mutuals that, like, really liked the show a lot, and I also saw folks that, absolutely ripped the fucking show a new one. I would fall closer into the category of the latter. When you said the show seemed to not really know what it wanted to be, in a lot of ways, I would say that you would probably be correct. At its core, Adachi and Shimamura is like a slice of life queer romance sort of thing, and that's definitely, I think, what it wants to be at its core.
I hear some question marks in there.
Yeah, I'll get to that. That is its core. Now, whether or not it adequately conveys that is a different thing entirely. I think you mentioned there were some weird shit that you saw contextually speaking that made you question a couple things about the show.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, that's kind of what made me not watch the show, because I was like, this is not what I thought the show was, so now I'm definitely not
really
going to watch
dodged a
it.
bullet.
Interesting.
Yeah.
For the first time in my life, I dodged a bullet.
So here's the thing, like, it had a really solid, like, first half of its first episode.
Oh, wow.
Because, like, so here's the thing. I'll start with things that this show does well. It's very pretty. It has a really interesting sense of style to how it presents the show, and some of its, like, some of the internal thoughts of the characters. Like, it does a really good job of making these really, like, dreamscape-like spaces in certain, you know, parts where, like, some of our characters, like Adachi, is thinking about Shimamura, and it very much feels true to life to this idea of high schooler, like, you know, this love-struck high schooler. And I think it portrays that quite well in certain aspects. The directing, though, as you brought up, just feels really weird. I guess even before I get into the directing, though, I'll just talk about some of the other shit just about the show itself that I don't think the directing really helps much either.
Okay.
Like, so yeah, one, alien girl. There's this whole fucking, like, side character that's this girl is just like, there's this shorty in an astronaut suit, and she's in this astronaut suit for like 3 or 4 episodes or something like that.
What?
And then just some fucking alien on Earth, and
why?
You know, I don't know. And she ends up like developing a human body or something like that, just because she wants to, like, be around humans or something like that and not be a little fucking weirdo in a suit. And she doesn't really serve much of a purpose in the show, like, at all.
Interesting.
It's really bizarre because, like, she doesn't really serve any purpose except, like, to make Adachi, like, situationally jealous of the attention that she gets from Shimamura. So, like, you know, Adachi is really, really, like, dumbstruck in love with Shimamura, and Shimamura is kind of aloof to basically everyone and has some serious attachment issues.
Okay.
And doesn't really try to get close to anyone. But, you know, she gives attention to little alien girl for a bit, and Adachi's like, I don't like that.
Interesting.
I don't know why she's there. Yeah, it's really bizarre.
That's really
there's a
weird.
lot of there's a lot of stuff that is, like, either A, that didn't go fucking anywhere, or B, literally why was it in there? In the, like, all in one episode, for instance, Shimamura is at, like, a rec center with her mom, and she runs into Adachi's mom while she's there, and Adachi's mom is pretty cold and distant, and Shimamura, like, you know, kind of stands up to her and is like, you should probably, you know, actually care about your daughter a little bit. And then that's a plot line that doesn't get explored at all in the rest of the season, and that was, like, in the first half of the series, and that seems like something where you would probably, you know, in another show get some, like, development out of that, you know, like, you might go somewhere with that, but nothing really happened with that.
That's
also
weird.
In that same episode, at the rec center, like, Shimamura was just swimming, and there's this one bizarre scene where she, like, comes out of the pool and she looks over, and there's this guy, there's just this, like, teenage boy just, like, crouched down, just, like, smirking and just, like, kind of, like, leering, but it's not at Shimamura. He's leering and like almost drooling at this group of like elementary school kids that are getting swimming lessons, and he's like, oh yeah, that's nice.
What?
And it's basically, haha, this kid's a literal pedophile. And
yeah,
and that is also not explained. Like, it's just,
why is that there?
And that's the exact thing, because it happened and then they moved on and nothing was said about it. Literally nothing came of it, and I was just sitting there like, what does this do for the show exactly?
Okay,
what are you trying to tell me about like any of this with that? And it's just like, is this supposed to be a joke? And if it is, do you have any idea like how incredibly in poor taste this is? Like, are we supposed to find this funny? Like,
so going back to our conversation about TONIKAWA real quick, this is the kind of stuff I was talking about. Like, this kind of feels like someone adapted the material straight and forgot why it was in there. Like it just kind of feels. This is why I don't like straight adaptations.
Like, I
don't know if it's true.
And I don't even see what point that would serve in like the original light novel of this either.
I don't either. That's why I'm confused. Is that like an add-in or is that like an adaptation flaw?
I don't know, but either way,
it's bad. Either way,
it's bad. And
That's
and
bad.
Even beyond that, like, I mean, there's also just a lot of like, kind of. I mean, I'm sure that this is not, you know, a take that has not been said on Twitter already. I've seen 1,000 people talk about like how many fucking crotch shots there are, directorially speaking. Yeah,
the voyeurism. Yeah,
I've
seen it.
Real fucking creepy, and it is a consistent staple of the show, and it's just like, it never really moves away from it, and it's really odd. And it would be one thing if they were like trying to use that specifically just to convey, like, for instance, if Adachi was thinking about Shimamura and, you know, was, you know, interested in that way,
right?
Because it's like, okay, well, you're conveying the kind of messy shit that comes with like being a teenager in love, but that's never at all what it is conveyed as. It's just like, okay, well, some characters are talking, so we're gonna pan over their stuff for the 15th time.
I saw some counterpoints to that where apparently, like, when there's I think there was something about like another character's perspective and it did that, and it kind of threw that theory out the window. I don't know. As I said, I don't know the episode chronology. Thank you.
Yeah.
And
there are some instances where the character's perspective is the case, but there are also points where it's like, none of y'all have your head under a fucking kotatsu and are looking up each other's skirts.
See that there's so many counterexamples that's obviously not what's happening. So
yeah, it's really fucking bizarre. And even like, I don't know, it's to pivot back, like, there's a lot of shit that doesn't make any fucking sense about Adachi and Shimamura as a show. There's a lot of stuff where I'm just like, this is just not good. And that's even
right.
That's only talking about like, you know, directing stuff and like side plot stuff. That is not to say anything about the main core plot of this show.
I couldn't even understand like what's going on based on my Twitter feed. So yeah. It's but let me tell you, I saw the alien girl and your explanation of that, and I can only imagine it's a nightmare.
Yeah, well, no. The show's plot is really simple. Adachi is hella gay for Shimamura, but she doesn't want to, you know, she keeps trying to push that out of her head. She's like, oh, what? But I can't like girls. And then Shimamura, like, you know, keeps referring to Adachi as like, oh, that's my little puppy. She's so sweet. And
that kind of
like,
sounds a little bit problematic just based on that description.
Yep. And I mean, like, you know, there's definitely like hints that Shimamura is into Adachi in a lot of ways, but it is also primarily just like, she kind of seems to just want Adachi around when it's convenient for her, because a lot of Shimamura's arc is like she doesn't get close to anyone, and that's kind of just her personality, and she's kind of a bitch sometimes. And like there's this whole thing where they move up a year in high school, and they're not like they're in the same classroom, but they're not sitting together anymore. But like this group of other girls comes over and starts hanging with Shimamura, and she's like, "Oh, I guess this is what I'm doing now." And she just doesn't talk to Adachi at all for like a month.
That's weird.
Even though Adachi is like her only like real actual friend, and Adachi doesn't have any other friends, but Shimamura's just like, fuck it, whatever, I guess. And it's just I fail to see what people really enjoy about it. Like, sure, I can see it from a perspective of like, this is a realistic, perspective of what some high schoolers are like. And like, yes, I have known people like that. That does not mean that I have to like them or that they are making this a compelling story. It just annoys me.
Yeah.
And
that gave me some like horror flashbacks to high school. And not saying that I was ever in that scenario. I'm just saying like, wow, I feel like that's something that probably happened to somebody.
Yeah.
And it's not a good one.
It's
not a good thing.
The one thing I think I can say is I don't think this show is meant to be Yuri bait, because I feel like with Yuri bait there is a clear indication that like nothing is ever going to actually happen, and there's no plan for it to happen, but there is absolutely a plan to exploit that, the tease of it, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
But in Adachi and Shimamura's case, like, there is a clear intention, at least on Adachi's point of view, that she does want something romantic out of Shimamura or some kind of companionship. So, like, I don't think I would say it's Yuri bait, but I'm also not going to say that it's a compelling or interesting kind of romance, because it is still very much like any possible advance towards any romantic development is completely like the romantic interruption sort of thing, like you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
But it's done by the characters themselves. Like, Adachi romantically interrupts herself like every single fucking time. And it's infuriating to watch.
Okay, that's interesting in its own way.
Yeah.
Okay, that is an enigma to me.
I'd be glad you didn't fucking watch it.
Yeah, wow. Yeah.
Maybe you would like it.
No, doesn't sound like it.
I wouldn't think so either. If you like it, I mean, fine, I guess. I have questions, but you're allowed to like stuff.
Yeah, people are allowed to like stuff. So,
I don't want to talk about the show anymore, Matt. Can we talk about something else?
Let's talk about something else.
It just fucking makes me mad.
I was just curious. Okay, moving on. Warlords of Sigrdrifa.
Sigururi, if you want to just do the shortening of it.
That's almost harder to say.
Yeah, I think Warlords of Sigrdrifa is just fine to say.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I thought that this was a perfectly fine show. Like, when I heard that this was basically a show about, like, anime girls fighting Norse mythology shit with fighter planes, and it's done by the dude that made ReZero, I was pretty interested. And it's one of those shows that, like, I enjoy it in concept and in a lot of execution. You can definitely tell that it is the same author of ReZero. The dialogue and the writing and the script is just so snappy. The characters are really fun and interesting, but I don't know. There was something about it that just, like, it's one of those shows where I was really compelled by how fun the characters were to watch, and probably less by how strong the story itself was. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely got that impression from the bit I watched. The characters would be the reason I would proceed with the show and not the plot, because the plot just seems kind of, not that it's not interesting or that it's not cool, because it sounds like there'd probably be some really cool like cinematographic elements to that.
Yeah.
Especially judging from like the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like that the characters are the reason you're staying there, and the interactions between them are the things that is going to drive the story to its its climax.
Yeah, I think an interesting way to look at this is like, I would kind of compare this as a similar sort of thing to another show that aired this season, Assault Lily Bouquet.
Okay.
In that they're both about, young girls that have to take on these huge fucking fights for the sake of humanity. And both of them, I would say, don't have a very strong story. And both of them have a pretty large ensemble cast of primarily female characters. But I dropped Assault Lily Bouquet like a fucking sack of bricks because I could not give a flying fuck about any of the cast.
Nice.
Like, I got through the second or third episode and I was like, okay, I'm good. If Sigrdrifa was similar to that and didn't have strong characters, I also would have just fucking dumped that thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact of the matter is, they do such a really good job of making this really fun cast of characters that I honestly like. Again, the plot's fine, but I feel as though they could have made an equally good, just like cute girls doing cute things, slice of life show with these characters, and like moved around some of the tragic backstory sort of shit, and it would have made a fantastic fucking like little comedy slice of life series. Which is maybe a weird thing to say about this, but it's just like, I don't feel like these characters need to be in this particular scenario. Does that make sense? I don't know. Like, it was fun. It was perfectly fine. It's nothing to write home about, though, at the end of the day.
I kind of wonder, because there was a couple seasons ago where they had like that slice of life, like fighter planes anime all girls cast thing. But
yeah,
I remember there was a lot of people were like, "Oh, this is cool" for the first episode, and then didn't watch it. I think it actually has a pretty low score on Mal too. I don't know if that's because of the 3D
CG one.
Yeah. I don't know if that's because of that reason or not, but
it could be. It's often a strong indicator of that.
So, yeah, it's definitely a show I intend on watching. Warlords. I mean, it's just. Because, as I said, I do really enjoy the characters. I always hate fall seasons because holidays just make it really freaking hard to finish shows.
Everything kind of flies out of whack in terms of scheduling and such.
It sucks. But yeah. I want to talk about Elaina. Journey of Elaina.
Oh boy. Hell yeah.
Because I feel like there's a lot of discussion about this show, I feel like, because it was a pretty, not only was it discussed a lot in the beginning, but also just I feel like it's kind of like a hit of the season, right? Like, if we had to discuss like 3 popular shows of the season, like this would be one of them. Like,
yeah, this absolutely has to go up there.
Like,
100%.
It's a pretty good show, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, I was pretty delighted with this show overall. I know I had some pretty strong stuff to say about Elaina, given that I think our beginning of the season cast was just like after the 3rd episode had aired or something like that. Yeah, and I know it was pretty divisive. And now that like the dust has kind of settled on that, I'm kind of a lot more at peace with 1, that episode, and 2, Elaina as a character and as a person. There's a lot of really gnarly shit that happens in Wandering Witch.
Yeah.
To say the least.
Yeah.
And as we kind of talked about in the first cast, Elaina is a really interesting well-rounded, compelling character that also just so happens to kind of be a piece of shit sometimes, and less a piece of shit and more extraordinarily self-centered, sometimes to a fault.
Yeah,
often to a fault.
Sometimes I kind of like that, but
I do too, and that's the thing. Like, are there some times where maybe I wish that she'd get the fucking stick out of her ass and maybe try to, I don't know, actually do something about something? Sure.
Man,
but at the same time,
I would also like to get the stick out of my own ass and try to do something sometimes too. But so that's just a mood. So I think all of us can have a moment like that. So
yeah. But the thing is, like, the rest of the series really works to flesh Elaina out and kind of help us see, like, why she is the way she is, and see her as a much more, like, interesting, developed person. Because, you know, she's not always just doing shit for, you know, her own purposes,
right?
And she doesn't, you know, contrary to what some folks might say, only care about herself and not give a flying fuck about anyone at all. Because there's some really gnarly shit that she puts up with in a couple episodes that shows an astonishingly human side of her.
Yeah. Honestly, the show, I feel like the progression of the show, like, really does that well. It really, humanizes is not the correct word. It kind of just brings her down to earth a little bit.
Yes. Yeah, I would agree.
Because, yeah, as you said, episode 9, number one factor. But there's a lot beyond that as well. The show itself kind of builds its own narrative, which sounds like an empty statement, but because every show does that. But I also think that if you're looking at just her as a character, it kind of it's layered. So it's layered in this very specific way that kind of like gets you to ask kind of these questions about her to kind of like build this intrigue, and then it kind of like answers them in its own way, like later on.
Yeah, for sure. Like, she is definitely, for instance, a very talented prodigy that loves herself and loves money and loves doing things for herself and money. But also, you know, even though she will very often take a this is not my fucking problem, peace out kind of approach, she is still very much, you know, she is, as you say, still a down-to-earth person in some regards. Like, she has a fucking heart. She does her best to help people out when she is able to, and when it doesn't feel like something that's going to put her in, like, an astonishing amount of danger. And even then, she will still try to help as best as she can, even in those sorts of pretty gnarly situations. And I mean, like, the fact of the matter is, you know, I think a lot of us look at perhaps much of her behavior and think like, oh god, well, I mean, like, you know, she should have done this, or she should have done that. And the fact of the matter is, like, a lot of these characters and protagonists in a lot of series, we see them in a very idealized fashion, you know, not as, like, you know, people necessarily, but as actors in this sort of thing.
Right.
And I think a lot of us don't look at things in such a way where it's like, okay, well, if I were in that situation, you know, if I didn't have, you know, if I didn't know I had, you know, shonen plot armor or something, what would I actually do in this situation? If I would I actively throw myself into huge gaping danger for someone I don't know for little reason? Like, for me, no. Honestly, it'd have to be a pretty fucking good reason.
Right. And like, and you know, that is something I actually really thought about between the last podcast and this one where we talked about this. And right after I watched the next episode, at episode 4, I was like, I thought about this a lot, and I was like, you know, like, almost like the exact same thought that you had was that, you know, if you stop looking at Elaina as a protagonist and you just look at her as a person, then this really like changes the whole game. Like,
yeah, I mean, like, sure, she's a wicked, powerful witch, but she's also a fucking 18-year-old girl.
she's not the protagonist from Mahoka. She's not Jesus. Like,
Yeah,
she can't
like...
do everything. you
yeah, exactly.
like, it's just like it becomes a lot more realistic when you think about it that way, because then you kind of understand her decision making and
right,
you know what goes into that. And
because I mean, like, God knows, if I was a fucking 18-year-old with magic in a situation like that, I sure as shit would not be thrilled to throw myself into something that could kill me. I'm 18. I have my whole fucking life ahead of me. Are you kidding me?
yeah,
Like, absolutely not. And I mean, like, on the surface that might sound selfish, but it's a very human thing. Like, look me in the eye and tell me you would not respond the same way.
exactly.
You know,
like,
it's,
I think
it's very easy to, you know, think about it in that way. Like you said, think about folks as protagonists, but you got to think about stuff from a human perspective.
and it's kind of strange too, because and it's probably harder to think about that with anime, because of a lot of anime is, I mean, especially in an anime about, you know, fantasy worlds and witches, it's probably hard to think of it from a realistic standpoint. And it's really easy to do that with other shows like that, you know, have more realistic settings and more realistic, you know, emotions fueling them and all that.
Yeah, like, Yahari, like, why can't y'all just fucking talk?
Yeah.
Just fucking talk.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot easier to just say that and be willing to approach it that way, you know?
Right.
But, like, it's kind of like you say, like, why didn't you use your big fucking magic skills to stop the flower zombies? Like, I don't know, man. You tell me.
Yeah, it's definitely just, I think it's a lot harder for people to think about a non-realistic show in a realistic way than it is to think about a realistic show in a realistic way.
Yeah,
of course,
I
all
would
of those words are in quotation marks, because someone's gonna say that Yahari's not realistic, which they may be correct in some ways. So
sure, yeah. I've never met a high schooler that thinks on that level. Like, they scare the shit out of me.
Yeah, but it's just like, so. Thinking about that concept of Elaina and just moving through the show with thinking about that, the show became a lot more understandable. And then in some of the later episodes, it really came to fruition that, like, not that I was right, but that, you know, I kind of was proven right that,
but that you were right.
Yeah, I felt validated. For sure. In my conclusions that I had predicted, and I was just like, oh my god, yeah, this is exactly what it's doing.
Yeah.
And I was very happy with the show overall, and I almost felt bad about my statements in the fall podcast, because I feel like all of us kind of panned that like really heavily at the time.
Yeah, I would definitely agree.
And I was like, oh man, like, I feel like I wanna what is the word?
You want to scrub that?
Yeah.
You want to do a retake on that one?
Yeah, pretty much. I want to do a retcon.
Yeah.
I want to retcon
yeah,
what
no.
I said.
I know what you mean. And, like, I'm usually the kind of person where if some whack shit is happening in a story, I'll try my best to be like, it's episode 4 in a, like, 12 plus episode series. What the fuck do we know about this character right now? There's plenty of time for them to develop, and if they don't, then oh well, whatever. Wasn't missing much, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there was that sort of, you know, really, like, a perceived, like, righteous fury kind of shit sort of thing that flared up, where we were all like, oh, but you have a responsibility to blah, 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 blah. And, you know, it's just, we just had a whole conversation about that.
Yeah.
But I think that very much, you know, really kicked that sort of thing into overdrive, which is ridiculous. And, like, could you make an argument for that? Sure, fine. But at the end of the day, it makes sense.
Yeah, it looks
and
like
I don't fault her for it.
right. It looks like that's that mentality was not what they were going for. What we originally talked about. It's obviously that the rest of the show does not reflect that. It actually reflects the opposite of that. So, now I'm not saying that you couldn't draw that conclusion, but I'm just saying that the evidence is against you.
Yes. Yeah. At the end of the day, this show presents a much more robust picture of Elaina as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And a much richer picture in that sense, as opposed to this, a pretty divisive hot take, I'm going to drop this kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, we got a little too hot and spicy.
But hey, it happens, man.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm gonna be honest. I was not expecting the episode 9 thing though. Like that just, like
that was the back in time one, right?
Oh yeah, that was that one.
Oh god, yeah.
So okay, all right. I want to just talk about it for a little bit because this blew me away. Number one, when your anime starts with a disclosure in the first episode, or sorry, in the first minute of the episode.
Yeah.
You know shit's gonna get real, but I didn't know how it was gonna get real. And I was thinking, what's gonna happen that's going to make this relevant? And then, about 20 minutes later, I figured it out. And I was like, yeah, this is a little bit, it wasn't anything, super bad. Okay, it was really bad, but...
It was really bad. It was a little insensitive in its treatment of the mentality of a sexual assault survivor, but that aside,
there was a lot going on in that episode.
So that was I just interesting sort of thing. I found, and this is related. I found a more recent article where you remember around the beginning of the season where there was this thing going around where it was the author of Wandering Witch told the production studio no panty shots because he wanted as wide an audience to watch this as possible.
Yes, I did.
And a lot of us interpreted that as this wants to be a thing that even families can watch and shit. Well, patently not the case. But there was this post that came out, and someone was like, there was some clarification on the author's part of that. And he was more like, yeah, I just didn't want to do something that would, pander to otaku and get that kind of crowd in for the show. Because I know that, panty shots and such would turn off a lot of folks who aren't into that sort of stuff. So it's less, fair. It's I want kids to be able to watch the show. It's more just I don't want to put off any other potential viewers of the show.
Maybe he didn't want to degrade his own show.
Right, yeah. And so I was okay, well, given the content of the show, that initial statement makes a little more sense. So, hence, back to episode 9, the gnarliest one in the whole fucking series. Yeah.
That was probably one of the most chilling things I've seen in a while. I was thinking, I couldn't believe they went there. I could. It wasn't this, I wasn't the worst thing I'd ever seen, but I was just whoa, this is way different than the rest of the episodes. So far.
Yeah, I was yeah, it makes sense in that that episode is definitely something that this show could have done. It didn't feel like it was completely out of left field.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's just I hadn't seen something like that in anime. At least not for, again, a very long time. And I was just this is not going where I think it's going, is it? This is not possibly and it just kept getting worse and worse and worse, and
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really fucking horrific.
Yeah.
Kind of like you said, one of the most chilling things I've seen in a long fucking time. And I have to applaud the show in a way for that. Like, you know, I'm not looking to just say, oh, it made me uncomfortable, therefore it's good, because, like, that's a really dumb take.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what they managed to do was make this really, really fascinating, gripping episode that also was incredibly humanizing for Elaina as well.
Mm-hmm.
Where, you know, we've been very much shown her as this, you know, in some ways, like, tough as nails, I don't give a fuck kind of, you know, character. And seeing her just completely lose her shit at the end of this was like, oh, she really is, you know, a whole ass human being underneath all of that, you know, posturing and shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really, at that episode kind of just, like, it put the whole show back into perspective. Like, similar to the way the first episode did, like, when she was first learning, it was kind of like a new learning experience for her. Although I think she kind of already knew it. She just, this was the, you know, not the nail in the coffin, but just like, this is just a physical realization of that.
Yeah, it's like she knew the world is rough, but it's really one of the only few times where she was confronted with it in such a way that she could not just fly off somewhere else and completely ignore it.
Yeah.
Like,
which, like, it's understandably so.
Yeah. It's not just something that she, you know, saw. It's something that in some ways, and I mean, it's not her fault, but, like, in some ways, like, she is partially responsible for it happening.
Right.
Just because, you know, and again, it wasn't her intention or anything like that, but, you know, in some way she might have felt complicit in it, which, again, technically, if you want to, you know, split hairs, yeah. But
yeah, I mean, yeah, I completely understand how she feels like that. I get that. Yeah. Like, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So, episode was really well directed, though.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
it was. I guess your definition of well directed is kind of interesting in that way, but it was very much, I was like, yeah, I didn't like it, but it was good directed. Mm-hmm. Directed good.
Yeah, I think that's a mark of a pretty solid piece where, like, you know, even if something is repulsive and, like, horrific, you can still appreciate it as a piece of art and how it's looking to, you know, convey its story.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's genuinely impressive.
Yeah, it was definitely an impressive work all around. So
yeah,
that was
for fucking sure.
Yeah, so that just kind of, like, I'm not gonna, that was obviously, like, the big episode of the series, because
and thank God the episodes we had from then on were definitely lighter in tone.
I don't know how you can get much heavier in tone, honestly. But, yeah,
but they were significantly less rough.
Right. Yeah, it was more, like, in line with what, like, some of the middle ones were.
Yeah.
So
but overall, man, like, this is, like, one of the shows of the year. Like, it's hands down Wandering Witch is fucking incredible.
Yeah, I definitely recommend, if you have not finished it or checked it out at all, like, go do that. It's worth it.
There's definitely some rough spots in it, and I mean some rough spots in it. So, you know.
Yeah, fair warning on that. But definitely good though.
Cool.
Yeah.
Are you ready to come down from Elaina?
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about Love Life. I'm gonna 180 this right
talk
now.
about Love Life? I watched the first 2 episodes of it, and I didn't watch any more. But I really liked the 2 episodes I saw.
I have a little bit to say about it. Like not necessarily that like it's not much more than what I had initially in the first podcast where we talked about the uniqueness and the individualistic characteristics of the characters kind of like distinguishing itself from the other bits of the franchise, I guess.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to just shout it out because it's really it definitely follows through with that like all the way through. So it makes it really stand out in the Love Live universe ? I'm not really sure if it's the same universe, but I guess it is.
Yeah, I would imagine it's probably in there.
But yeah, I think a lot of people like to compare the Love Lives to each other. Just because they're the same franchise, obviously.
Yeah.
And it just kind of feels like, I don't know. So if I had to think about the Love Lives as kind of like their own thing, like it kind of, this one has like the most I don't know. I think I really enjoyed the feel of this one. I thought I liked the Sunshine the best, the middle one, the last one.
Yeah.
Because I thought the narrative was really gripping. And that was probably the strength of that series as a whole, was that it was more about, not being able to overcome like the struggles of yourself, and you're trying to like fight with that, and you're trying to grip with that, and the narrative kind of fed into that a whole lot, like being able just to overcome different obstacles, which I guess you could say the original's about that, but I feel like the original was more optimistic in that.
Yeah, it was very optimistic. It was very like almost saccharine in how it was so sugary sweet to a point that it's just like ugh. Like I get it, and I understand folks like it.
Yeah.
But, like I can also see how the level of like, wow, we can do literally anything can be a little like, okay, cool your jets, girls.
Yeah. I like all the different entries for different reasons.
Yeah.
But this entry, the Nijigasaki, it's very focused around individuality, which is really. It actually makes the characters a lot stronger, which you might think that's a no shit
Shocking.
moment. Yeah, you might think it's a no shit moment, but it really, it also kind of has this, but it's actually really weird because by giving each of the characters like their own individual like, I mean. Every Love Live kind of had their own individual episodes for the characters, but in this case, it kind of like allowed the characters to bond better because the characters felt more fleshed out. So it felt more like an idol group than like a show trying to make it wasn't about the group, it was about the people in the group that make up the group. So it kind of fed into its own like it. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it basically it makes the group dynamic stronger because the characters themselves were stronger. Somehow by focusing on the individual characters, you make the group stronger.
Yes.
Which you think would be the opposite, but it's not. It's just kind of interesting because none of the other Love Lives did that, or they like tried to do. I'm not sure if they tried to do that or if it was just like a different take, but you could debate the whole thing.
Yeah,
but it's just interesting. Also, the show has pretty good direction. Like it's actually it's got some really good directing moments in it, especially some of the later episodes, and it's just like, wow, like they managed to balance it out really well, and I was just I was just really shocked. that I was like, wow, I really like this a lot. And maybe also part of that is that there was less focus on like, because a lot of the middle episodes ended up with like a character. They focused on a character, or sometimes just maybe one or two characters, and it was just they like, it basically had the format of they have this, you know, they're trying to figure things out with themselves, and they it didn't really have like a real, like, each one didn't have like a real narrative to it or a plot point. It just was just them trying to like come together as a group, and it was just, at the end each one has like their own like concert thing. It wasn't like, which is a little bit different than the format that the other two took in that. So I don't know if like the directing was just more apparent because there was like less concert stuff, or it was more scripted in that way. I don't know, but either way, the directing definitely came through. It's definitely like, I've not seen a lot of idol anime do that. It was just kind of interesting. So it was just a good spin on it. I thought they did a good job. So
yeah, hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, so applause to that.
I'm glad that it wasn't a flop.
Yeah. I'm sure someone out there didn't like it, but they, you know, that's how it is. That's how
there's going to be all sorts of stuff that people just don't like out there. Yeah. Like Gymnastics Samurai, for instance.
Oh.
I'm not going to talk very long about it, but I remember at the beginning of the fall 2020 beginning cast, I had some harsh words for this show, and it doesn't really get any better. Well, it does get better. So here's the thing. Like, some of my core issues with Gymnastics Samurai was that, like, it was allegedly a sports series done by MAPPA, and we know from experience that they can do this really fucking well. Like, Yuri on Ice is a goddamn, like, it's perfection or close to it. And it's really great, especially when it focuses on the sports. And Gymnastics Samurai doesn't focus on the gymnastics like much at all. And it continues to be this really weird, disjointed character drama that's pulled in 1,000 different directions that isn't really all that compelling for a very long time. But like somewhere in the last 4 episodes, like, it starts actually focusing on the gymnastics. And
That's interesting.
the astonishing thing is, it starts getting pretty fucking good, actually. And it made me furious. Because
nice.
Because when they had large swaths of the episode actually be about the sports and not be about, oh, here's our big fucking tropical bird from South Africa that speaks Japanese.
What the fuck?
Okay. And that has sentient conversations. When it's actually doing, you know, its namesake, it's fucking great.
The Tomoko market effect is what I'm going to call that.
Yeah. We'll go with that. When it focused on the actual gymnastics, it was really cool and compelling and interesting. And when it wasn't focused on that, it was a pretty fucking subpar character drama / character slice of life. And the only character that I really got invested in was, like, not even the main character doing the gymnastics. Like, I did not fucking give a shit. The show just makes me mad just because of, like, how much fucking wasted potential it had. I don't really want to say much more about it. Like, I know some folks that really like this show, and I mean, like, if you did, more power to you, but I am nothing but bitter about this series.
I mean, I think it's understandable when you're waiting for it, and then finally you get it, but it's, like, way too late.
It's way too late, and you cannot have one good thing, you know, patch up the rest of a, you know, you can't patch up one hole like when your sinking ship has 15 other holes.
Right.
And expect it to still float.
So. Yeah, I definitely understand that.
Yeah.
it just I think I mentioned this in the first podcast, but MAPPA right now is kind of an animating joke. As a studio, it's kind of like the butt of jokes right now because I think they have some staffing problems. I don't know if that played into that show at all, but
I would probably imagine because like it was pretty clear that this was not like their A game or their A team because I mean like I don't know, MAPPA's working on a lot of shit right now.
Yeah, I think the article I saw was that their animators are overworked.
Oh, what a fucking
yeah, and that's not a surprise to anybody that follows the anime industry, but MAPPA is currently the studio that's facing a lot of those pains the most.
Well, yeah, because I mean, like, they're doing fucking the final season of Attack on Titan, and they're doing Jujutsu Kaisen, and they're doing Gymnastics Samurai, which was a original series of their own, by the way, and they've been doing a metric fuckload of stuff. Like, of course their staff is going to be overworked. What did y'all think was going to happen?
Yeah, that's kind of like oh no, where did we go wrong? Or like how did this go so wrong? We could have never predicted this.
Yeah, who could have seen this coming? I don't know, gang. Who indeed?
Yeah. Well, if it isn't the consequences of my own actions. Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, that sucks. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Like, really, you know, this was a really satisfying season if I take that and Adachi and Shimamura out. It was pretty fucking solid overall. I was very fucking happy with it.
Yeah, I mean, the season overall has just been pretty solid. Like, even though I only watched a small amount of shows, like, I was really satisfied about it. Also, like, the fact that we can even get, like, you know, maybe, like, 6 or 8 good shows a season, like, that's a lot. Like, I remember the days that weren't that long ago, like, I'd say maybe 5-6 years ago, where it was like, wow, you get 2 good shows in a season, like, you're making bank. Like,
yeah, it's like you had to fucking scrape the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, everything else is just like whatever. But you know, so you know, anime is good. What's new?
Anime is good because I mean, like, oh my god, like, you know, Wandering Witch. The most recent season of Haikyuu was this season. We had Tonikawa. We had Sleepy Princess. I don't know if we even talked about Akudama Drive or Great Pretender in the beginning of Fall 2020 podcast.
I know we talked about Akudama Drive a little bit, which, by the way, that's a banger. So
Akudama Drive is the most fucking anime I watched this season. That's the
better or for
best
worse
way I can put it. Yeah, but like, God, that was a fucking gem. Great Pretender. Oh my God! If you somehow haven't watched it at this point, like, you are actively harming yourself by not watching it.
Okay, well, I'm actively harming myself. Better fix that.
It's so fucking good. Oh my God, it's so good. I cannot possibly overstate how fucking good Great Pretender is.
Okay, I guess I'm gonna watch this now.
Just like, the best way I saw it is like, imagine if Ocean's 11 got adapted into a really good anime series. And that's best way I can see it put.
I've heard a lot of good things about it.
Yeah, it's super fucking compelling, and Wit knocked it out of the park.
Oh, it's by Wit?
Show. Yeah, Studio
I didn't
Wit
even
got
know
this.
that.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. That's good.
Killed it.
That's good. Wit is on the up and up right now.
I would absolutely, without a doubt, say that it is the best booking show of the year.
Wow.
And that's
I believe it.
Yeah, it's them some fighting words, but it fucking fight me, I guess. I don't care if you think Eizouken's cool. Great Pretender is visually astonishing. It's so fucking good.
Yeah.
Fight me.
I mean, okay, so if we're going to talk about like shows of 2020, like, okay, this is going to be a hot take, so get ready for this.
Oh, baby, give it to me.
Eizouken, I understand why everyone loves Eizouken. I get it. It was not like the best show of the year.
Oh, dude, let me high five you across the airwaves. I don't care.
Nice.
Yes, I will agree with you. I think Eizouken is a real marvel of animation. I think it's a really delightful celebration of anime and the creation of it and the passion behind it and everything else that goes behind it. Yeah, it's great. Yeah. It's cool. I don't see myself chomping at the bit to watch it again.
Yeah, I actually don't. It's not that I didn't like Eizouken or anything you said. I think the directing was really good. I think that there's a lot of cool creative aspects about it. But if I have to think about shows that I liked the most and I thought were impressive or okay, so Eizouken is one of those it's like an art piece, right?
Yeah, it's a critical darling.
Yeah, so you're okay, this is obviously good, and if you diss Eizouken, that's probably a crime. You probably shouldn't do that. But it's it's just one of those things that's I respect it and I enjoy it, but it's not the pinnacle of whatever. I just don't think. I think, and I completely understand if people think it is. I get it. Don't slaughter me. It's just not something that I it's not something I feel revisiting or I feel it was just it wasn't super compelling, I guess. To me,
it didn't grip you in the certain way.
Yeah. I guess
that's the thing. I can really appreciate when something is good. I know Eizouken is good.
Right, it is. Absolutely.
There's not a contest for that. But it has to be for me to really really get a show. It has to be compelling in a way that it's I look back in that and I think, God, I want to dive right back into that.
Right.
And it's I got a lot of good vibes out of Eizouken. It was a fun watch. I felt myself as I watched it. It gave me a lot of nostalgia to when I was a kid and I had all these wild designs for shit, and it really kind of gave me that good little jolt in there. But coming out of it, it's I appreciate it for that, but that's not necessarily something that I'm going to actively go back and seek out from this, because I would want to go watch something else instead, because there were other things that were maybe not as quote unquote objectively good into quote as Eizouken, but that really gripped me more, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And you know what? I actually have just remembered that I think we did a similar discussion back when it aired in winter 2020 in the End podcast, where we talked about, does Eizouken need a season 2? I felt like we discussed a lot of these similar points.
Yeah. Because it's good, but it said what it has needed to say, and I know the manga's still ongoing and such.
Yeah.
But
I feel like it's said its piece. There. I feel like it's made its point.
Yeah. I don't really know what more I could really
get out of it,
feel from it. Yeah.
So man, I was looking through the shows, and what show that I kind of secretly want a season 2 of? Well, not secretly, I guess secretly now. But out of all the shows that I was thinking about, I was for a show that I'd be yes, season 2. Hanako-kun.
I am gonna lose my shit if we don't get a season 2 of it, because this is also probably in my top 5 or at least top 10 for the year. Hanako-kun is so fucking good on every single level. Like, from the character design to the directing. Again, it's the director of Scum's Wish, and I had a weird inkling of that, but I was like, oh my fucking god, it just has such a vibe and a style to it. But also, like, I don't know. I'm gonna ramble. You go say something about it.
Oh, I was just gonna say that, like, it was a show that, like, initially I wasn't even gonna watch, and then I ended up like watching it for the podcast, and I was like, whoa, like, this is really good. Like, holy shit, like, this is amazing. Yeah. Like it's definitely I'd say it's in my top 5. Like, I was like, this is not even typically the show I seek out, but this is really good. I love it. It's just absolutely up there. And I was just like, oh my god, there's so many things. Like, the animation style's good, the directing is, like, really not only iconic, but it's also, like, just really, like, solid. Like, yeah, it's just, and, you know, it has, like, the whole thematic thing, which is, like, the what would you call that?
The way that it takes on, like, you know, spirits and rumors and the supernatural,
occult.
Like, yeah, the way it takes on occult shit and its perspective and its take on it is super interesting,
yes,
and really compelling. And it ends up not just being cool in concept, but it ends up making a really fascinating cast of characters out of that feel, you know, not like tropey, or that don't feel like really tired. Like, it's just so fascinating.
It's bursting with unique creativity.
Yes, yeah.
It's very very good.
Yeah, it's it is just it doesn't seem like on the surface it is something that would be as good as it is. Because, like, I had this initial thought of it, you know, maybe being like, oh, it's a, you know, fun little edgy show that might be kind of neat. But, like, it has so much, like, character and emotional depth to it. And so much really solid writing and story pacing and everything else. It's just, like, it's astonishing. And it blows so much shit just completely out of the water that it's just like, yeah, there was some good stuff this season, but, like, goddamn, you tell me what I want to watch again. I want to watch fucking Toilet Bound Hanako-kun again.
Exactly. Like, it's the show that I'm just like, man, just keep giving that to me. Like, yeah. Like
I mean, we ended up Morgan and I started buying the manga of it.
Oh, like, nice.
We've got a good bit of it at this point. I think there's maybe only 1 or 2 volumes that are out in English that we don't quite have yet. But, like, it's just like, I need fucking more of this. You cannot stop me. I need more of this. Wow. And, like, that's such a testament to the raw fucking power of this series. Like, it's so good. Oh my god.
Yeah, like, that is definitely on my most hype for season 2 list.
Yeah. I hope it doesn't end up being a season 2 never, but
I mean, it could just be a season 2 4 years from now.
Yeah, it could be a hurry.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Oh god. Oh man, like, and there's, like, so many ones, like, surprised me, like, this year, like Jeweler Richard. Like, I still think about that sometimes. Like, that show, another show I wasn't ever gonna watch, by the way, that I only watched because Zack here convinced me to watch it for the podcast, and I was like, whoa, like, that was a legit good show.
Yeah, the winter season was just full of surprising stuff.
Yeah.
Like, because those aired the same season. Like, Hanako-kun, I had no idea I was going to like it that much. Richard, I really did not think it was going to be as compelling a character drama / mystery as it was.
Yeah.
But it was really, on a weekly basis, like, beat for beat, really fucking good. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, that was just like
Fuck. Fucking Darwin's Game was in the winter 2020 season.
That's right. That's a good show too.
Yeah, if we're talking about shows I would also happily watch a second season of,
that
I would happily watch a second season of Darwin's Game.
Darwin's Game was, like, again, another show that, like, you thought it was just gonna be edgy, but it was actually good. Like,
it was such a breath of fresh air in the kind of death game battle royale genre.
Yeah.
Like, oh
yeah,
my god.
So, like, there's so many good shows in 2020. Like,
I know.
Like, man, like, so I don't want to be that person that just, like, picks just one. I want, like, I'm gonna, like, praise a whole bunch of them. So, like, but, like, I guess probably the one that would most stick out to me, maybe unsurprisingly, Kaguya Season 2. Like, it feels kind of a cop-out to pick a sequel, but, like, that one for me, like, that series I feel like is so close to my heart at this point that, like, I can't let it go.
I'm dying for Season 3, but
coming.
I'm relieved knowing that it's coming very soon.
Yes.
And I feel you, man. Like, it's just, there is something about Kaguya-sama that is so beat for beat unbelievably good at what it does, and it fucking knows it.
Yeah.
Like, it has such a comedic timing and presence and power that I have just not seen in anything in a long fucking time. Like, and it's just like you take the first season of Kaguya, and then you get the second season, and it just builds on everything that was good about the first one, but, like, it builds exponentially, and it's like, holy fucking hell, how is it still not only as good as it was, but how does it feel like it's leagues ahead?
Yeah, how does it feel like it continuously improves? Like, it's nuts to think about.
Like, I just don't understand. And for a show like this, too, where a lot of it is, like, introducing new characters and such, a lot of the time it can feel really, hilariously enough, stale when they add new characters, because it's like, oh, we have to have something new to bring the action in. But no, the new additions are really fucking good and work in such a way that, like, the core cast chemistry is not thrown off, it's just enriched by it.
Yeah. And which is just impressive. Like, Kaguya-san is the show that everyone wants to make but can't do it.
Yeah.
Like, it's the show that everyone wants to be in terms of, you know, high school comedy, slice of life, romance. Everyone wants to pull off a show like that but can't do it.
I know. And it's just it's it's got that fucking Goldilocks zone on lockdown, man.
Yeah,
and it's just like nothing can touch it.
And it's crazy. It's like the author literally, like you said, has it on lockdown. Like, the being able to pinpoint it right so many times in a row is like, you've got it. Like, it's just so impressive.
It is, and folks know it. Like, I'm astonished by I'm not astonished by the popularity of it, but, like, it's not the show that I figured would take off like it did.
Yeah.
But, like I walked into, in the last month or so, I was in Books A Million, and I was just looking through the manga, and there were almost, like, 2 whole shelves that were just fucking Kaguya-sama. And I'm like, what the hell is happening here?
Yeah,
this is some podunk shit in West Virginia, and you know, in this manga section, the shit is stacked.
Yeah,
like you think this was like they were starting to shuffle One Piece shit or something.
Yeah, like it's kind of, and I was not in there too much, not that long ago. as well.
Yeah.
And it's like, you see your shelves, you got like Attack on Titan, it takes up like a shelf and a half. Naruto takes up like two. Dragon Ball Z takes up a shelf. And then it's like, you get Kaguya, and it's got like this whole shelf. And it's just like, oh my god, like, this is great. I'm so glad. I'm so happy that finally a show that I like is being respected.
It's one of those shows that's like, there's a lot of shows out there that I really, really love and are like, this is like my show of the year. But it's also like, I don't think it needs to keep going indefinitely. Kaguya-sama, I would watch this for fucking ever. Because, again, it does such a good job of iterating on itself and keeping itself consistently fresh. And the thought that it could at some point not be as good as it is unthinkable.
Yeah, I can't even think about that.
I don't understand how it could be possible.
No, I don't think it's possible. And you know what? I also think about the time when it's going to end. And I just don't even want to think about that because I want it to keep going forever.
Yeah,
so,
but with the rate at which we're getting new seasons of the show, we'll have Kaguya for a long time if they continue to adapt it.
Yeah, so that's good. It's good.
Yes,
we're here for a while, and people are gonna keep watching it because, well, it's good, and everyone knows it. So,
I can finally. It kind of scratches that itch in me that's bitter that we only got one season of Gekkan Shoujo Nozaki-kun.
Yeah.
So this is, Nozaki walked so Kaguya-sama could run.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. Thank you for your efforts. oh man.
God.
Yeah. Man.
It feels so weird to see this year of anime coming, at a close now. And I'm just like, oh my god, we're leaving all this great shit behind. But it gets me really fucking hyped for the possibility of this year.
Mm-hmm.
Because literally we're already back into ReZero now.
Oh, really?
The first episode of the second half of the second season dropped 2 days ago or something like that. Stuff is starting to already air for it's coming. It's
already here.
It is at the gates.
Winter is already here.
Yeah, it just gets me so fucking stoked for stuff.
God.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm sure there's gonna be good stuff in 2021 in terms of anime, but there's gonna be a lot. There's a high bar set.
Yeah, there's definitely a high bar set at this point.
Because even though 2020 was an absolute dumpster fire of a whole year, god damn was it a good year for good anime.
Yeah. That's definitely true. So,
I don't know, man. I have faith that it's going to be good. Let's hope for the best.
Yeah, I think that's all we can hope for at this point. It's one of the hopefully have a good year in anime because we're gonna need it.
Yeah, I'm not going to think about what this year is going to be like outside of anime because I don't want to.
Yep, that's general consensus.
Just at all.
Yep. So.
Well. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think that my tanks are empty. I feel like I have not expelled. That's that sounds like I had to empty myself of the evil of the anime this year, and that ain't the case. But I feel like I've finally put all the good vibes out in the atmosphere.
Yeah, I feel like I have. Yeah, I have done my part to share my good anime thoughts with the world.
Yeah, we gushed for quite a fucking bit, so thanks for sticking around.
Yeah,
and hanging in there with us.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and I guess God, before we fucking blink, we're gonna be talking to y'all again about the winter 2020 season.
Yeah.
2021. Oh God.
It's 2021 because numbering.
Yes,
all right. Well, see y'all next time.
All right. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye.
Hey, thanks for listening. As always, you can find all our podcasts, articles, videos, etc. at thebackloggers.com. Our intro and outro song is The Bear by Shell in the Pit, who you can find on Spotify and Bandcamp. And we'd love to hear from y'all in the comments on our site, on the podcast platform of your choice, or by just being glad it's 2021. We are setting the bar pretty low here. And as always, we're on Twitter at @the_backloggers, so pull up a log and stop in for a bit.